Example 8.8 gives another application problem. So I would certainly recommend that you pause, read this for yourself, and then try to find what it is that we are looking for in this example, and then we would want to define the variables based off of that. So you might pause now and read this for yourself, find those variables. I'm going to read it for us. 1 Snickers bar and 2 Reese's peanut butter cups contain 737 calories. 2 Snickers and 1 Reese's peanut butter cup contain 778 calories. Find, yeah, that's what I'm looking for, find the caloric content of each candy bar. So I'm trying to find caloric content. That's what I'm after. And it says for each candy bar. There's only 2 types of candy bar here. There's a Snickers and there is a Reese's. And I do understand that it talks about there being 1 Snickers and 2 Reese's and then 2 Snickers and 1 Reese's, but we can assume that each Snickers and Reese's is basically made the same. So we just need to find what the caloric content is of one of them that's a Snickers and one of them that's a Reese's. So for my variables, I'm not going to use X and Y this time. I'm going to use something that's a little more meaningful. I'm going to use capital S and I'm going to use capital R. And it's important that when you define your variables that you define them correctly. If all you do is say S equals Snickers, then you don't really understand what it is that your variable represents, because S is not supposed to equal Snickers. It's not the number of Snickers either. It's supposed to be the caloric content of each Snicker. So this S is supposed to represent the caloric content of a Snickers. So I will expect you to be detailed in what you're wanting your variable to represent. If you don't do that, then when you write your equations, they don't have the same meaning that you're wanting them to. So you might be implying what you want, but if you can't explicitly state it, then you haven't met the requirements for the problem. So the Reese's is the same idea. It's going to be the caloric content of a Reese's. So with that, 2 variables, I know that I have to have 2 equations to go with that. So let me start working on my system. And the very first sentence says 1 Snickers bar and 2 Reese's peanut butter cups will contain 737 calories. So if I take 1 Snickers calorie plus 2 of the Reese's calories, it should give me a grand total of 737 calories. Second sentence, do the same way. 2 Snickers and 1 Reese's peanut butter cup will contain 778. So that's going to be 2S plus R should equal 778. With the system set up, we would then want to go into solving mode. And for the solving mode, we can either do a substitution or an additional elimination, whichever one you choose. On example 8.7, we went with the additional elimination, so maybe it would be nice to see a substitution here, and if that's not the way that you would like to do it, then pause the video, go ahead and do the additional elimination, and even if you want to do substitution on your own, pause the video, go through the substitution process, and then check back at the end to see if you have the right answer. So I'm going to take the top equation, I'll call this one equation number 1, and I'm going to solve it for S. So S plus 2R is 737, so S is going to equal 737 minus 2R. And then I'm going to take the second equation, 2S plus R is equal to 778, and I will substitute in 737 minus 2R for S. And now I need to distribute and combine like terms. So when I distribute, I should have 1,474 minus 4r plus r, all equal to 778. Combine like terms with the minus 4r and the r. So 1,474 minus 3r should equal 778. Then I will need to subtract 1474 from 778, giving me negative 3r is equal to negative 696, and divide both sides by negative 3, and we will get that r is equal to 232. On to the back substitution. We'll take 232, substitute it back into r in the original substituting expression. So s is going to equal 737 minus 2 times 232. So s is going to end up equaling 273. So just like with example 8.7, I don't really want to take this result and write it as an ordered pair. Instead, I want to write a sentence that is going to answer the question, which was to find the caloric content of each candy bar. So we'll say Snickers contain 273 calories, and Reese's contain 232 calories. And you can do an informal check by taking these values and using them in the first sentence and the second sentence to see if you get the correct calorie count of 737 and 778. And I'll go ahead and tell you that it does work out the way that it should, but I would recommend that you verify that for yourself.